Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the 143. This is Under Review coming at you live.
Yes, we are back at it again after suffering probably one of the most depressing, gut-wrenching losses that I've witnessed in a while.
It's just one of those tough episodes, where the Cowboys, the game, there was a very hyped up game, Niners-Cowboys, supposed to be like a future playoff matchup. Going to see how good we are. And we gave them a 42-10 loss. The Cowboys did, and it was embarrassing. The whole world's laughing at us, as they should. We already have a bad rap of saying how we could win it every year, and now we just...
We're 3-2, so we're obviously getting hammered pretty hard.
Yeah, and we deserve it. We deserve every
Absolutely.
bit of it right now, and we're going to hammer the Cowboys as well because...
they deserve it.
They deserve it, and we're not happy as fans. We'll get to that here in a second. Here's the stat of the week, brought to you by Andrews Logistics. The stat is the Chicago Bears finally won on Thursday night. Nick, you know how long it had been since they won?
At least a year.
Almost. It was 346 days.
And they beat the Commanders, so that's a
now
meaningful win.
Justin Fields had he had 282 passing for 4 touchdowns. DJ Moore had 230 receiving yards for 3 touchdowns. Obviously, we told you we were going to bring you field stats every week. He played a great game, no doubt about it. Although you could argue that DJ Moore is the one that, I think
DJ Moore is the MVP of that game.
Absolutely. DJ Moore went off. It was crazy. 230 yards from a receiver is nuts. And 3 touchdowns. So that's crazy.
That was 90% of Justin Fields' passing yards.
Hey, if you're a Bears fan, congrats on getting that first win. Because 346 days, they're the one team in the NFL, MLB, NBA, Premier League, and there's one more league that I'm forgetting about that hadn't won a game in that time span. Yeah, pathetic.
That's pretty bad. But
that is terrible.
Anyways, moving on. Your player of the week. We're going to highlight a character that has really had a minimal role in his team's performances over the last couple weeks. It's Ja'Marr Chase. Finally got going. Him and Joe Burrow finally got that offense going, got that connection back and up to speed, up to what we're looking for.
They took care of business.
He got 15 passes for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
15 catches is actually crazy. So that's Joe Burrow's guy, and everyone's been waiting on them to click. They had a couple deep balls that they connected on, and so I'm glad to see that they're doing good. The league is better off when the Bengals are good. So,
I like seeing the Bengals succeed.
Are they 2-3?
Yeah. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I like Ja'Marr Chase. I like everyone on that team. So it's nice to see that offense get back and moving again.
That division's wide open.
Yeah.
It's still theirs to take if they want it because the
Ravens are struggling.
The Steelers don't look great.
Yeah.
They don't look great. The Browns don't look great. So you don't know what's going to happen. It's still up
for grabs. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, congrats to them. Congrats to Ja'Marr Chase. And there we go.
The first game on Sunday was another international series game.
Keeping those London games going, giving London a show.
The Jags were playing in their home away from home against the Buffalo Bills.
Second straight week in London, they were able to stay there, adjust to the time schedule. They didn't have the jet lag or anything coming into this game. The Bills didn't really look like they did either. It was a tight game. It was a high-scoring game in terms of both. It's really rare in the NFL these days when you get a close offensive game. And
yeah, we haven't been seeing too much of that.
I'm not going to go on a rant here, but I could on how pathetic the primetime games have been.
They've been pretty bad. And the
Absolutely
Cowboys
terrible.
On Sunday Night Football, we were supposed to kind of put that whole matter to bed.
That was
this was supposed to be the first good primetime game of the season, and it disappointed everybody. I was a little annoyed.
I need to say something to the NFL scheduling people. There is a rule that you can flex games now. You can move games around.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to start doing that, guys, because these primetime games are absolutely terrible. And also, I don't know what they're doing with the Thursday night games.
Yeah, the Bears finally won, but no one wants to watch the Bears
versus the Commanders
on Thursday night football. When that's the only game on, that is boring. Okay? It's like, obviously, you can have Bears Commanders in the middle of Sunday. You might flip over and watch like 2 minutes of that game, but you don't want it to be the only game on. That's awful.
I mean, you got to also say, like, the Jets and Giants were slated for all these primetime games. And by the way, primetime games are Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football, and any afternoon, like 3 o'clock, 3:25 games that there are on Sunday. And so, like, basically not primetime is 12 o'clock games for the most part. And so the Jets and the Giants, they were slated for all these primetime games. You got to take them out. They've shown that they're not good this season, both of them. Mm-hmm. Broncos need to be taken out. I mean, and honestly, like the Cowboys Niners, that makes sense. That's going to be a primetime game. But I mean, the Cowboys
just stunk.
Did not live up to anything primetime. But anyway, sorry. Back to the Jags Bills game. It was a close game. Is that all I wanted to say? Is because it's ridiculous that we don't get close games anymore. But I think Trevor Lawrence and that offense showed up, and so did Josh Allen. But the Jags came out on top 25-20.
That defense shut down, the Jags defense shut down that Bills offense that has been so prominent in the last couple weeks. Held them to 20, and the Bills were just coming off a huge win against the Dolphins, where their offense really showed out, and they kind of shut down the Dolphins. The Dolphins had themselves a bounce-back week. We continuously see Devon Achane just
It's Achane, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard Achane. It's Achane.
It's Achane. He's from here. He's from College
Those
Station.
announcers keep
we seen him play,
ruining his name, but he's kind of taken over the running back one role.
Yep.
For
151 yards. I mean, you got to give it to him. They beat up on the Giants. Everyone's doing that this season.
I mean, also, he's looking about as fast as Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so on that clip of Tyreek when he streaks across the middle of the field with the ball, splits two defenders and runs up the sideline and gets caught from behind. I mean, Devon Achane, he looks like he's jogging, and he's going stride for stride with the cheetah. So that was pretty impressive.
He's a speedy man. Congrats to them.
Another big story also in the AFC East is Mac Jones was benched once again for the second week in a row.
But they still say he's the starter.
Yeah, for some reason they just have complete and utter faith in him.
I mean, not much to say in this game. 34-0. Saints won. I mean, the biggest takeaway is the same takeaway we've been seeing. The Patriots, that was Tom Brady. Once Tom left, they went downhill. Belichick's not a bad coach.
I mean, it
was Tom Brady.
That was Bill Belichick's worst home loss of
handed him
coaching career.
The worst loss of his career the week before. Mm-hmm. So, just terrible.
The Patriots are not looking good.
Steelers beat the Ravens, a close division game, a messy game, not great.
Very low scoring.
7 drops by the Ravens, 3 of those in the end zone. They definitely should have won that game, but the receivers were not playing great, and so they were not able to pull through. I would say Lamar didn't play amazing either.
I think the telling thing was when in the fourth quarter at the end when Lamar threw that pick in the end zone. He's trying to go hit Odell, but he ends up throwing a pick, and that ultimately loses the Ravens the game.
Absolutely. I mean, not much to this game, but how about the Lions? Still rolling, put up 42 on the Panthers.
I mean, they've been cooking.
The Panthers aren't great, but you just got to tip your cap to Dan Campbell and his team. He's got his guys fired up. The Lions are looking like they are going to win that division.
Really turning it around. David Montgomery was looking like a great
signing
pickup. Yeah, by them. He goes off for the second week in a row. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff looks incredible. He's been hitting Sam Laporta, that tight end
the rookie tight end.
I mean, he's looking great. And they were all doing that without Amon-Ra. So I would say scoring 42 without your best receiver is very impressive.
Bounce back year for Jared Goff for sure. We're going to just run over this game real quick. The Eagles beat the Rams 23-14. Eagles stay undefeated. Everybody obviously singing their praises right now.
So frustrating because they get these sloppy, ugly wins against
working.
teams that are mediocre or bad.
And we can't say anything at the moment because we are
can't.
3-2.
But it's also it's so boring to watch those games
They are
because
ground and pound.
the Eagles take 7 minutes off the clock per drive.
Mm-hmm.
They just eat so much clock that it's so boring to watch. I hate
It's
it.
tough as a Cowboys fan, but you got to hand it to them. Whatever they're doing right now is working. They got a great defense. Jalen Hurts is being able to hide behind the run game and the defense. And like we said before, you really got to make them come from behind in a big way.
You shut down that run game, I would say you're in business.
I can't wait till they play the 49ers, but I'm sure they'll find a way to get lucky in that game as well. Maybe Brock Purdy tears his UCL.
I was about to say they got lucky last year with Brock Purdy getting hurt.
But Chiefs took the win over the Vikings.
That was another close game.
A Vikings storyline. The Vikings are looking terrible.
Yeah.
The Vikings are 1-4. They've let everyone down, and Justin Jefferson got a little banged up. But the Chiefs are doing what the Chiefs should be doing. Obviously, they're going to get everyone's best this year because they are the Super Bowl champions. Mm-hmm. But they turned it on after their loss to the Lions, and they've been slowly. Look, everyone knows the Chiefs' early season. It's kind of like the Pats. You
just got to get rolling. It was first game of the season.
Patrick Mahomes,
Thursday
when
night.
you don't want to play him, is November, December.
Yeah,
that's when you don't.
I would
want to face
agree.
the Chiefs. So right now, you can tell they're heating up. But good win for them. The Vikings.
Obviously, little bit of a scare for the Chiefs there. Travis Kelce gets injured in the middle of that game.
Yep.
He does end up coming back
and scoring
a touchdown. Yeah. So he was great. But
okay.
another big story was that another big story from that game is fans are getting a little frustrated because they feel that the games are not getting reffed super fairly for the Chiefs.
Yeah, this one was interesting.
Because on that last 4th and 12, I want to say it looked like there were just about like 15 penalties that happened there that did not get called. There was what looked like a roughing the passer. There was a hands to the face. There was a defensive PI. But then the big one that everyone was talking about was the corner takes off his helmet.
To talk to the ref.
You cannot do.
If you take your helmet off on the field.
On the field, you cannot take your helmet off.
An automatic 15.
That is a penalty 100 times out of 100. But the ref walks up to him, says, "Put your helmet on." He does. He puts his helmet on. They pick up the flag, and then play resumes, and that ultimately loses the Vikings the game because that seals it.
Not much to say about the reffing here. I mean, yeah. I'm not one to get into all the reffing stuff, and neither is Nick. But that's a blown call. You got to call that. Yeah. And now it looks like the games are rigged for Kansas City, even though they're not.
Because they had something similar last week against the Jets.
There's been missed calls against Kansas City. There's missed calls every game. You got to just remember, we're watching it. That was a huge blown call. There's no excuse for that. But most blown calls are like, we're watching it in slow motion. They're watching it in real time. It's tough to make every single call. But that was a blown call by the refs. They should have called that. Nevertheless, Kansas City got the win. Minnesota, I mean, they're 1-4. They could have been 2-3. But Minnesota's not doing anything this year. They've shown. All right, let's talk about it.
The Cowboys. All right, I believe it is time to move on from Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Let's just go ahead and get into that.
Who is Dak Prescott? Oh, Dak Prescott. He shrinks in big moments.
I'll be honest. I think we've seen the peak of this Mike McCarthy-Dak Prescott duo. I think the divisional round last year, I think that's the peak of what these two guys are capable of on the same team.
Here's the thing. Like we've been saying, even though we've been winning games big, the defense has been scoring and carrying the games.
It has not been because of the offense.
The offense has not been there.
We won week 1 by 40. Well, also, the defense accounted for half of those points, and when you hold the other team to 0 points, you should win that game 100 times out of 100.
I think...
and every other game that we have won has been that story too, where the defense just takes control of the game and holds the offense to a minimum. When we beat the Patriots, held them to 3. When we beat the Jets, held them to 10. So it's like you should be winning those games.
Everyone knew coming into this game, the defenses were going to both be good. It was going to come down to who's the better quarterback. Right. Brock Purdy showed he is a way better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, the reads that he was making during this game were atrocious. And Mike McCarthy's play calling on 3rd and 4, down 14, hands the ball off, even though that has not been working at all.
And they were talking about how it was, it might be a situation where you have to go for it. And our running game had not been doing anything at all to that point.
That's a situation where you throw 2 passes to get the first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Didn't throw
when you
one.
have CeeDee Lamb as your wide receiver 1, why would you not be throwing it?
We've been getting dominated all game and we kick a field goal. Like that was going to do anything. And so, honestly, our defense got so banged up because they were on the field the entire time. Our offense was terrible. We lost guys this week. Leighton Vander Esch, hopefully he's okay. We lost Bland for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Our entire secondary was going down. And it's because they can't play all 60 minutes of the game.
That's what we were talking about too while watching the game. It's like from the moment that first whistle blew at the start of the game, our defense did not get a break until halftime.
They got maybe 1 or 2 minutes
because our offense consistently goes 3 and out,
or pick.
3 and out, 3 and out. Our defense would go out there, make a stop, get him the ball back, 3 and out. Defense goes back out there, gets a stop, gets the offensive ball back, 3 and out. And it's like they're getting 1 minute at a time to
we already lost
rest on the sideline.
Which, by the way, this loss wouldn't have been as bad as big of a deal if we hadn't lost to Arizona. We blew that game, but we've got 2 losses now, and
we are going.
It has come down to the offense in both of those games, and they didn't come through. So this was the game that was supposed to show who we were, and I think we did. I think we did show who we are against a really good offense. Our defense our defense got stops. Our defense did what they had to do, but they cannot be out there for 50 minutes or they will give up touchdowns because they're gassed. And the 49ers are a great dynamic offense. And so our offense just showed that against a really good defense because we haven't played a good defense.
So how you beat a team like that is you get long, productive drives.
Mm-hmm. You got to convert.
You got a high-scoring offense. You do everything in your power to keep that offense off the field.
We did not pass 200 total yards in the game offensively.
Which is sad.
And that is embarrassing.
It is sad.
As a team that came into the season as Super Bowl contenders.
See, a lot of people are saying that this is a rivalry. You know, we're revamping the rivalry from the 80s and 90s. But here's the thing. At least in the 80s and 90s, whenever we played, it was like you didn't know who was going to win, but you knew you were getting a good game. It's like they've bested us. This is the 3rd time.
4 or 5 of the last 4 or 5.
This is the 3rd time in the last 3 seasons. Yeah. They beat us. They beat us in the wild card round. They beat us in the divisional round, and now they beat us again. And we're probably, if we want to make it to the Super Bowl,
if we make it to playoffs,
we're going to have to go through these guys.
We will be playing at Levi Stadium again. We will either be playing at Levi Stadium or in Philly. That's how it's just going to go. And, to do that, we're going to have to make it out of the wild card round.
And here's the thing, too, is we're going through a rough stretch of games these next 5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, we have Chargers. We have Rams. Mm-hmm. We have the Eagles. And
I want to say we play the Giants again at some point.
Yeah, but there's another game in there that's pretty tough. We got to play the Bills and the Dolphins this season too. We have a really tough schedule. We cannot be dropping these games, but we're 3-2, and there's honestly a chance we go, 8-9. There's a really good chance we go.
It's just frustrating because I'm about done with Dak. I'm about done with Mike.
I think if this season keeps going the way it's going, I don't think either one of them will be here.
Dude, trade Dak away, and I say bring DQ down from the box.
Yeah.
Let him have the head coaching job.
Obviously, he can coach from the box, so if he wants.
Well, yeah, obviously. But, he's in the box right now as the defensive coordinator. But
he's done a good job.
I would not absolutely hate him being the head coach. I think
And you bring in an offensive coordinator who knows what they're doing.
I think he'd be one of the best options that's actually available for the Cowboys.
I agree.
And then obviously you just got to get rid of Dak.
Dak's got to go. We've been saying that. We said it after the playoff loss last year. We said it after the playoff loss before. This is how it is. In big games, Dak comes up short. I cannot remember a single big game, a close big game, a game where we were behind and we needed to come back. You know what game that happened in last season? The Houston Texans.
The worst team in the league that won like 3 games last year. Let me just right before we're going to move on from this game. But let me just lay an egg on you real quick. All right. the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If that ain't Cowboys Nation, I don't know what is. We keep
I'm not
going
gonna lie, Nick just pulled that nugget of wisdom just
into the
out of
fire
nowhere.
and flames of every season with this Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott duo and expecting something different to happen. I mean, we continuously fold against good teams. We continuously fold in big moments when we got these two guys running the ship.
It's pathetic. I mean, first of all, I bet you didn't think you were getting life lessons when you came in here, but Nick just dropped one on you. And also, like, what are we thinking? What are we thinking is going to happen? Because it's been the same for at least the last 3 years, if not more.
And listen, other people on the team are getting a little restless.
Our number one receiver
was not happy after the game. And I can imagine that all 11 guys on defense aren't happy either when they continuously put the ball in our offense's hand and our offense gives it right back to the other team's offense.
The head coach and the quarterback made the entire team look bad yesterday. But that's who the game is on. It's on the head coach and it's on the quarterback. You get paid the most money to be the face of the franchise. This is what you're going to have to endure.
You got to perform.
3 interceptions is not okay. I don't care if they came in garbage time, 2 of them. Like, you can't throw the ball to the other team 3 times. So, moving on from there was nothing good to take away from this game. Not a single good thing. And the injuries piled up for us yesterday, and we just hope that we can get our team back for the Monday night game against the Chargers.
Tank for Caleb Williams or something. I don't know.
I think most Cowboys fans would say after yesterday that this season it's not looking great.
Listen,
it's hard to come back from that.
If it takes having a losing record this season or something to see that Dak Prescott's not the guy and finally get Jerry to move off of Mike and Dak, I mean, I don't know if that is
we've already shown we're
the worst thing in the world.
We've already shown we're not.
Because listen, making it to the playoffs is not enough.
That is
not the standard. Our standard is a ring every single season, okay? So making it to the playoffs consistently is not enough.
Agreed. It was ridiculous. As Cowboys fans, it was heartbreaking, and yeah. So
it's just so frustrating. Another big thing. Let's just move on from that because I think I've had enough talking about the Cowboys.
I agree. We got
nothing good to say. Okay, the Falcons win again, moved to 3-2 as they overtake the Texans. Obviously, big story there is that Bijan is continuously carrying that Falcons offense and that Falcons team to victory. He did it again this week, and they moved to a winning record, which 3-2, that looks awfully familiar, does it not?
It does, but for us, it's unacceptable. For the Falcons, it's good because they're used to not having a winning record.
They have been struggling.
I mean, their defense looks better. They're winning close games, and you got to hand it to them. Like, that's improvement from last year. Obviously, like, nobody's saying they're going to win, like, the division or anything.
It's looking like it's the Saints for
or the Bucks.
Or the Bucks.
I'm high on the Bucks.
That's
they had a
true.
bye week this week, but I like the Bucks this year. We'll see, though. But, yeah, congrats to the Falcons. Yeah, so
the Colts, once again, me and Joseph talked a lot. We talked pretty highly on Anthony Richardson. And the thing is,
I love him.
He looks so good on the field. He looks so good when he's out there on the field. But the issue is he can't stay on the field.
This is
suffered
he's
2
played
concussions
4 games and gotten hurt
thus
in
far,
3 of them.
and
Some
suffered
shoulder
a
injury?
shoulder, a lightly sprained shoulder, I believe is
He went out and didn't come
what
back
it was
in.
Exactly. But when he's out there, he's electrifying. But the issue is that he can't stay out there. Obviously, the Colts still won.
They did. Gardner Minshew's a good backup to have.
Thanks to Zach Moss just absolutely obliterating the Titans' defense. Obviously, the Titans aren't anything special other than Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, but good for the Colts. Super excited for them.
Hopefully Richardson stays healthy.
I want to see Anthony Richardson play because we have been undergoing fire for our takes on Anthony Richardson, but We need you to come back.
He's been really good on the field. So all they got to say right now is he can't stay on the field. But we were right about his on the field talent. I mean, Nick and I never said he wasn't ever going to get injured, but we were right about the.
He can figure out how to protect himself, how to take hits, how to slide, maybe, and just do a better job of not getting injured. I don't know what to say. Take some notes from Tua. I mean, Tua
take some jiu-jitsu.
Had that issue last year, and he fixed it. And the Dolphins are looking absolutely electric as of right now.
Yep. Hopefully the Colts can get it fixed. Anyways, in this week in the NFL, it was a messy week for the Cowboys. And just, nothing crazy happened this week either. But congrats to the teams that won, and hopefully the Cowboys are not getting any sleep right now trying to cook up some way to save the season.
I mean, I was about to say I don't know what to say, but I do know what to say. Get rid of Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. I think
tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Today. Yesterday.
Absolutely. I mean, we were saying if they don't make it to the NFC Championship last year, then they should be gone.
It's over.
I mean, when you have one of the best defenses in the league for years consistently, and you have all the weapons that you do offensively at wide receiver, not at quarterback, obviously, and as stellar of an O-line as we have, and you can't get it done because you're continuously putting it on the back of a quarterback who has shown he is mediocre, that just bothers me. I don't like it.
I mean, you want the same thing to happen every year. Keep going with it. But we're kind of ready to win something in Dallas. So either sell the team, Jerry, or make the right decision.
Make a better decision.
Stop being friends with everyone and make business decisions.
You're running a business, okay? I don't care that you're best friends and buddy with everyone on the team. Look, if someone's not performing, you got to get rid of them.
It's time to take a step back and just do what needs to be done, which is what we've been saying for 3 years. But what do we know?
We obviously don't know anything. But nonetheless, here's like to end our shows on Under Review. I have brought to you a quote, which is the second quote you're going to get of the show. So
Nick already dropped one on you.
A little
bonus quote.
A little two-parter. Success isn't measured by money or power or social rank. Success is measured by your discipline and inner peace.
Well, not a successful week for our team.
That was Mike Ditka, by the way. Sorry.
Legendary coach. But anyways, I don't think the Cowboys know what it's like to have real success in the season because we haven't had it in years, which we're constantly reminded of. But hopefully we can get it on track and maybe do something this season.
I mean, who knows?
A lot of games left to play, a lot of games left to potentially lose like we did this week unless we figure something out offensively. Thank y'all for tuning in this week. Sorry it was such a sad episode. We are too.
We just had a lot of things to say. I mean, it needed to be said.
Everyone was thinking it. So thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week. Another episode of Under Review.